What's up? Hey, hello, everyone. Wow. So today we are back going to be talking about Survivor season 43, episode 3. So my name is Rachel.
I'm Alyssa. This episode of Survivor was the first one that was like a quote unquote normal episode of Survivor. It was only an hour. And, I feel like a lot happened in this episode despite it being shorter. It was still a pretty good episode.
I thought it was a fun episode. Low key, I wish it were longer because once we get to the tribal council portion, I have so many questions that I would want answered. Maybe they'll answer them next time with flashbacks or like the morning after scene. But I thought it was a fun episode titled I'll Sign the Divorce Papers. Jesse said that.
I called it last week, by the way. I said that it was going to be about Jesse and his island wife. So go me.
Yeah, so for confessionals this episode, the 3 people that got no confessionals were Janine, Gio, and Ryan. And then the people with the most confessionals, Carla had 6, Noelle had 5, Nneka and Gabler had 4, which I feel like this makes sense, the people that got the most confessionals considering what happened this episode. But it's interesting, Carla getting 6 and her tribe didn't even go to tribal council.
Yeah, but she also did find the Beware advantage, and I feel like the fact that she like kind of went back and forth on whether or not to take the Beware advantage gave her even more like screen time than she would have had if she had just seen the Beware advantage and taken it first. So
Yeah, that's true. For everyone else on Blue Team, they have to vote Carla out because they are literally all backup characters to Carla as the main show right now.
yeah, so I mean, I think it'll be interesting. I wonder how much of it is just that like they haven't gone to tribal, so we haven't needed to develop the rest of these characters, and how much of it is they're all kind of duds.
Yeah, so speaking of the Beware advantage, we see Cody at the start of this episode. He doesn't have that hat idol anymore. We see him holding the bracelet in a confessional. So it seems like he maybe returned everyone's beads, but just kept the special beads to make the idol bracelet. But I was just so sad. I wanted to see him play the hat idol.
I wanted to see him play the hat idol too. But I guess maybe there's too much a risk of like losing it or someone taking some of the beads or whatever.
Probably, right? If he had them all on the hat, people maybe would ask for them back. Like, hey, we did the stick, let's give it back. I want them back. So you already had that moment at Tribal. Can I have my beads back? Which then it's like you sort of have to say yes since you already did the little fun hat thing. Versus now, maybe he gave those beads back, but he kept, or maybe he asked for the singular bead to keep.
Yeah, it's like a memento. So
Yeah, speaking of, we go to the Blue Team where we see them have their all Beware advantage as well. It is James's birthday, and this was weird, interesting. He legit says, "Yeah, for my birthday, I want to go exploring for idols." I was like, "Whoa, did he just say that out loud?"
yeah, I was kind of like, you could have just said like, oh, I just want to see more of the island and kind of chill out. And huh? I feel like people sometimes are like really brazen about saying that they are going to be looking for idols just because people will suspect it anyway. But like, come on, dude.
Exactly. You could have just said, "Yeah, I want to go exploring." But maybe it's like, "Oh, you're trying to trick your other teammates." Because if you say straight up, "I'm going to look for idols," if someone catches you out there exploring, looking for things, digging in holes, they won't be maybe as sketched because you already told them, "Hey, I'm going to look for idols." But I also feel like this only works for a certain kind of character on the island. Like if Cody said it because he's got that goofball character, it would make more sense. You'd be like, oh, yeah, that's just Cody. So it'd be good strategy. For James, we haven't really seen him as a goofball character. So it just came off as too blunt.
Yeah, I was gonna say James doesn't really have any sort of character yet. So
The chess character.
yeah.
So we see Carla. She goes looking for the Beware advantage or any kind of advantage out in the trees. She finds the Beware advantage and then she decides to put it back. And I was like, no, I feel like for the Beware advantages, you have to take them because in 41 and 42, they have always been hidden immunity idols. That is such a big advantage for the beware advantage. So I feel like you have to take them. If you left it like Jeannie did in 41 and she tells Shan and Ricard that she found this and showed them where it was, we saw what happened there, where then Shan and Ricard take it from under her.
Yeah, I feel like the thing about this is also we know as viewers that getting to it earlier is actually better because that gives you more time to like build your bracelet. So I was really happy that Carla, even though she originally was kind of apprehensive, decided to go back and take it just because like she deserves it. Queen.
Me too. After the commercial break, I was so excited. I was glad that she tried or decided to risk it after she played it safe on the island trip. And then we see Carla's social skills here. She had a different strategy from the Cody idol strategy. Here we see Carla being able to appeal to everyone's different desires, using her wife's birthday as a reason, saying, oh, let's trade items so we can remember each other by. I was like, okay, this is really great. You're not just doing one strategy for 5 other people, but you're tailoring what you're saying to everyone so you can get everyone's beads.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting though because then I feel like this could come back to bite you. Like if one of the people that you said like, "Oh, I want the beads to make a necklace," is like, "Oh, Carla, how's your necklace going?" Everyone else is going to be like, "Wait, she asked me for my bead for a necklace?" Like, yeah.
I guess she can say, yeah, I want to remember you in this necklace that I'm going to give to my wife for her birthday. The trading items, if that were me, okay, day 6, day 7, and someone's like, oh, let me remember you. Let's trade a personal item. I'll give you an earring for one of your beads. I'd be like, what the heck? You know, it's only 1 week in. Are you trying to vote me out? And that's why you want to have a personal item? Why do we need to remember each other if no one's voted out yet?
Yeah, yeah. It's just it felt kind of weird, but I guess it worked for Carla. So if it worked, it worked.
Exactly. We didn't really see anyone on Blue being super suspicious. Everyone, Cassidy and Lindsay, they wanted those earrings. Ryan wanted that bead for his girlfriend's favorite color being turquoise. So it seems like it worked really, really well. So good on Carla knowing how to appeal to everyone and her social skills here. I do wonder, come the merge for all 3 teams, we thought maybe they'll do different beware advantages, but it is this bead advantage for all of them. So come merge, would the people that have the bead idols find each other similar to the people with the beware advantages? They know the other people because of the advantage phrases. Would like Cody and Carla here look for these other beads and see maybe, oh, does that person have beads missing? That means their idol was found.
That would be like 3D chess thinking.
Maybe, but I feel like if you were in the know like Cody and Carla, I feel like maybe that's something you look out for.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't be that smart to think about it, especially not while sleep deprived and food deprived.
Yeah, especially because it does seem like the beads are like the exact same ones, but just in different colors. So it's not even like too different where you wouldn't spot it, but it's like, oh, the like big like square bead, oh, the circle space looking bead. It seems like they're all the same, but just different colored.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Next time we need more custom beads.
yeah, you need like a squiggly bead and like a round bead, just not just different colors. So it'll be interesting if the people at the merge realize or like they suss out who has the idol potentially, because unlike the beware advantages, like Carla didn't tell anyone that we saw. Cody and Jesse are the only 2 people that know now after Nneka gets voted out. So it'll be interesting because not as many people know about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we see some from the Yellow Tribe. We see Ellie, Janine, and Sammy. They're talking on the beach. They want to know, okay, does Gabler know that his idol is still active, or does he think that it expired after this second tribal council? Ellie and Janine, they sort of want to trick him into thinking that it's an expired idol and he can't use it anymore. Then we see them saying, okay, who should go ask and try to trick Gabler? Janine says, oh, Ellie should. Ellie is closer to Gabler. Sammy says, you think Ellie is closer to Gabler? They say, yeah. And he's like, okay. I thought that was funny. Sammy had a really good reaction here. He's not trying to push the subject. He literally just takes note of what was said. Oh, they think Ellie's closer to Gabler. Okay, then he's going to use that information to tell Gabler that the women are trying to trick him. I thought that was really well done. He didn't like overreact to that information.
What I don't understand is why Sammy thought it would be better to have Gabler on his side than to have the women on his side. Because, like, it kind of seems like Gabler's on his way out. Like, they made a point again of talking about how tired he's been, how everyone has to walk on eggshells around him. And, like, I guess I don't understand why Sammy decided that he was going to betray the trust of the girls for Gabler's sake, especially because like Owen's kind of playing the middle, but I feel like given the chance, Owen would probably go with the girls over Sammy and Gabler. So like, yeah, I guess it was a good move by Sammy, but also I feel like kind of a stupid move because it was unnecessarily causing drama for someone who it seems like is on their way out.
I guess, right? But also, since Gabler's idol is still active, if Sammy decides to go with the women, maybe he doesn't know how close Owen is with the women as well. Gabler is safe. Okay, they're going to try to trick Gabler into not playing the idol. But also, it's sort of like if someone has an idol, I don't think they're going to not play it. So then Gabler, you would assume, is immune. So if everyone is trying to work with Janine and Ellie, that only leaves really Sammy versus Owen on the chopping block, where maybe Sammy gets booted because it's closer to merge. He'd be a threat for those individual immunity challenges. Gabler, because he is sick or acting sick all the time, he's not going to be a threat for those individual immunity challenges. So I could see, because Sammy now throws the women under the bus, specifically like Ellie here and Janine for looking through the bag to Gabler, sort of maybe brings the men closer together here, where now Sammy isn't one of the ones on the chopping block, but if Yellow does go to tribal, it seems like Ellie or Janine would be on the chopping block. So Sammy sort of, by doing this, it seems like maybe he brought himself a few steps above the totem pole.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on whether or not Gabler stays around long term. Just because I feel like a lot of people have been hypothesizing Gabler is either like a quitter or a medevac, and so like this idea of you may be a couple steps higher on the totem pole now, but will it help you long term?
Yeah, that's interesting, because if Gabler does go, say Yellow goes to 2 more tribals, they vote out Janine next time, and then they vote out Gabler the time after, maybe Ellie doesn't trust you anymore because you threw her under the bus, and she discovered that you threw her under the bus, and then you go into the merge like super fractured, then yeah, I can see what you're saying there. You're sort of shooting yourself in the foot by fracturing the tribe by creating drama, but also drama can be good because now Ellie and Janine are the ones maybe going home if this team goes back to tribal.
Yeah, but I guess we'll have to see because I wonder about the red tribe because it seems like they don't have any good puzzlers on their tribe, so that could be they continue to lose. So
Yeah, so I thought Sammy was doing well here. The women are underestimating him just as like a young, dumb bro character. Seems like last week we got that information as well, where they were talking about the women underestimating the men. So it seems like here, at least for Janine and Ellie, this is going to be a little storyline. I thought it was a fun scene when we see Ellie trying to trick Gabler into thinking that the idol was expired, but Gabler knows what Ellie was trying to do because of Sammy and Owen telling him, which I thought it was just so funny that both people are trying to trick the other person, not knowing that the other person has potentially more information about the subject than they do.
yeah, I always think it's kind of a comedy of errors on Survivor when you see someone like trying to convince someone else of something and the other person like isn't biting. Like that was also kind of Carla with her trying to convince people to give her the beads when Ryan was like, "I'll give you a sock."
It's like, I don't want your dirty socks. So I think this team, it'll be interesting to see them go to tribal because we have all of this like information about them. Owen playing the middle. It'll be interesting to see if he chooses the men or the women if Yellow goes to tribal. But I feel like if Yellow does go, even though they're painting Ellie to be the target because of the trying to trick Gabler thing, I feel like if it's between Janine and Ellie, you're probably voting Janine out.
Yeah. I feel like Ellie is generally like more strategic, more likable. Like I feel like they've definitely positioned Janine as kind of her second hand, and Ellie is the mastermind.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be interesting, I guess. We want to see blue go to tribal because we haven't seen them at all. Maybe want to see yellow go to tribal because the tribe dynamics here are really interesting.
Yeah.
So we go to the immunity challenge. They have to jump off of tall posts and then retrieve keys in order to do a puzzle. You win immunity, and you also win a toolkit and a fruit basket. So Geo sits out for the blue team. There is nothing on the sit out bench. I feel like very similar to the Beware advantages, how they can't be phrases this season. You can't really hide something there on the sit out bench season after season after season because everyone would know. We've seen it twice now in 41 and 42. It makes sense there is nothing there this time.
Yeah. So they don't want to make it too easy.
Exactly. You got to be unpredictable. So I feel like the star of this challenge was Noelle. She is literally so inspiring and so badass.
Yeah, Noelle, I feel like has been getting a lot of content recently. Like there was something last week where she talked to Cody about like how to put on her leg and stuff. But I feel like this was kind of her breakout episode, I guess. I hope that Noelle can get more content that's like not just about her being an amputee, because I'm sure that that's something that like she talks about a lot because it's something that's a very visible difference about her. But like there's more to her than being an amputee. So I hope that like her storyline doesn't just keep hitting us over the head with like, wow, she's an amputee, but she's still really cool. Like, give us more.
Yeah, I think this was a breakout episode for Noelle. She got a lot of confessionals, like we said at the beginning of the podcast. And she got a lot of good content as well, like showing her social strategy side, because we haven't really seen that much from her in terms of that previously. For the challenge, I was confused. I'm like, for this puzzle, we see Nneka trying to continuously look at the other teams' puzzles and try to cheat off of them. But I feel like for this kind of puzzle, cheating isn't that helpful because it's not, you know, it's not like a cheating kind of puzzle. If it's a word puzzle, sure, this is not that kind of puzzle that's easy to cheat off of.
Yeah, I feel like this kind of puzzle, I don't really understand how all of the like turtle scales are different. Like they all looked the same to me from the camera. So I was kind of confused how you do this puzzle other than just like shoving random scales into random places. I guess technically they're scoops, not scales. Apologies to any of the turtle biologists out there. But I guess I didn't really understand this puzzle. I don't understand how you could cheat on this puzzle. Like, come on.
Yeah, like they were saying, put the smaller pieces towards the back and the larger pieces towards the front. And that could be something you look at the other teams that completed it. And then you can see, okay, the bigger ones are closer to the head, the smaller ones are closer to the tail. But yeah, other than that, it's like process of elimination. You just put the piece in and see if it fits. If it doesn't, rotate it and then move it out.
Mm-hmm.
So the yellow team that they get first. So Ellie and Janine were on the puzzle, basically saving themselves because, like we were saying, one of the women probably gets voted out here. Blue team is second, red team is last. So I do wonder for blue team, they are the team that has all 6 people still. Will they make the merge just like the blue team in season 41, having all people make the merge? We don't really know too much about the blue team tribe dynamics besides it's like a 4-2. Maybe Carla is in the middle here and maybe all 6 make the merge, and that's why we haven't seen too much of them.
Yeah, I feel like the blue team is such an enigma, and I don't really like it. It kind of reminds me of, I guess it was also the blue team in Erica's season, where like no one knew that Erica was going to be the winner of her season because we just didn't see anything from her team pre-merge. So
Exactly. It's like it's Luvu 2.0, and maybe if you're going on to Survivor, you want to be on the blue team in these 3-person tribes.
except for it is a little different because like a lot of people are hypothesizing that Carla might be like a winner prospect and like that's why she's getting more screen time. So I think actually showing us a relevant character is good. But like if like I don't know, Geo gets to be the winner of the season, I'm kind of going to be like, we could have seen more of him. So.
And I think that's what we've talked about with like the edit for Erica as well. It's like, okay, you could have showed us Erica and Heather pre-merge, but no, it was all about like Danny, Deshawn, and Sydney pre-merge on Blue Team. But alas, I guess we shall see. So Yellow, since they won, they get to choose who gets to go to the island adventure. Yellow chooses Noelle, James, and Owen from their own team. I do wish maybe with a longer episode we could have heard some of the reasoning behind this. Like, did they think Noelle was on the outs and that's why they picked her? Or did they just think Noelle and James are really cool, so we want to align with them? Like, what was the background reasoning behind this?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that also might be something that we see later on down the line, just because I feel like sometimes, because we didn't really see like the other tribes, we didn't really see a lot of the discussion of like why we picked this person and this person. So maybe next episode we'll get kind of a retrospective.
Yeah, I guess if this alliance comes to fruition as like the island trip alliance, then maybe we'll see some more of it. So for the island trip, they have to climb up a mountain and then they do that risk reward selection, very similar to the premiere episode. Noelle basically spilled the beans for her team, saying, last tribal didn't go my way. I'm willing to do a 3 alliance with you, James and Owen, if you help me out here. I feel like if you're James and Owen and the person whose tribe lost, they're going to tribal council is saying that they're on the bottom, they're going to get voted out if you don't help them. I feel like if you're James or Owen in this spot, you sort of have to low-key give it to that person, even if Noelle were lying and she wasn't actually on the bottom, but she just wanted an advantage. If the person that's going to tribal is saying, yeah, please give it to me, like James and Owen, they're not going to tribal. They don't necessarily really need it. You can try to curry favor by giving it to that person here.
Yeah, I guess it's like kind of one of those things where you don't want to look like the bad guy. And like, even if like you don't want to give the advantage to the person who says they're on the outs, the other person also coming to the island with you might disagree. And then you're kind of a bad guy in both of those people's eyes. And it's kind of like, it's just easier, especially upon first meeting someone, to kind of just give up.
Exactly, because it's like, okay, if someone was trying to fight Noelle for the advantage, it's sort of sketchy. Like, why do you want it so bad? Are you just trying to build your survivor resume? Like, it's not the first episode where, okay, Gabler and Dwight could both risk it because you don't really know people. You don't really have those tribe dynamics. No one has lost an immunity challenge yet. Everyone is still here. But now, a week into the game, things have sort of settled out where if someone is like, yeah, I'm going to get voted out, please help me. Maybe you're like, heck no, if you're already out the door, we don't need you. Like, bye-bye, go away, like get voted out. And then you could keep that advantage for yourself. But I think trying to fight someone for this when they're saying they're on the bottom, you're just going to look like a meanie person.
Yep. And like in this case, Noelle was kind of telling the truth. Like she did feel like she was on the bottom. She was the only person who voted incorrectly last week. So it's like she has reason to feel like she's on the bottom. So yeah.
Exactly. I do wonder for future seasons if people will lie about this and be like, yeah, I was on the bottom. But if it's like, okay, Cody or Jesse that went, and then they lie saying they're on the outs to get the advantage, that would be some big brain moves.
Mm-hmm.
So Noelle is the only person to risk it. She automatically gets the advantage, and we learn that she gets a steal the vote advantage. She goes back to the team and she's like, okay, sorry, I wanted to save my vote because we're going to tribal council. Great lie. No one really would suspect that because saving your vote makes sense, especially after they saw the whole thing with Survivor Season 42 with Chanel risking her vote. Noelle could easily say, yeah, I didn't want it to tie or anything like that. But Noelle actually did have something, and she hid it in her foot shell, which I do wonder if anyone thought Noelle was like maybe lying about having advantage or not, because I feel like we saw Cody being sketched out over Dwight saying they had to walk through chest deep water, but Cody was like, dude, you're dry. You didn't walk through water. I do wonder if people did think Noelle had something, but was lying about saving the vote.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those things where like there are some boundaries that you can't cross with people, and so it's like maybe someone did think like, oh, Noelle has something and it's not in her bag because she's saying we can search her bag, but like it's awkward to like strip search someone. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if anyone did have suspicions, they wouldn't be like, take off your leg, you know? That'd be like really inappropriate.
Yeah.
So Noelle, she tells Dwight that she has something. So it seems like Noelle and Dwight are being a duo now after Justine got voted out last week. So for Jesse and his island wife, Dwight has now found a new island mate out there. I think for this steal a vote advantage, this is going to be very, very useful in these small teams right now. If red team goes to tribal again, because it's so easy to count, okay, where are 4 votes going? Where are 5 votes going? Compared to if she saves it until the merge, 12 people voting, a steal the vote advantage isn't as useful until you get down to like 7, 6.
Yeah. Whew, that's gonna be spicy.
That's okay. That's why. So we go to tribal council. It's basically a question of loyalty versus strength. Do we want to keep the loyal person or do we want to keep this tribe strong to try not to lose any more challenges? We could go into the merge as 4 people strong. So for me, I wish we saw more of the pre-tribal plans. Like, did Noelle and Dwight as a duo or singularly go to Jesse and Cody and convince them to vote Nneka out? Or did the foursome of Noelle, Dwight, Jesse, and Cody all come together mutually and create some bond or pact? Like, yes, let's all vote together, but we're going to be tribe strong and go into the merge together. I feel like they would have had to create some kind of deal between the 4 of them in order to make this move to vote Nneka out.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Nneka made it seem like she had no suspicion whatsoever that she was getting voted out. So I feel like there must have been something going on there.
Yeah, which is also interesting because if the goal is to not lose any more individual immunity challenges, great goal because the way not to get voted out is to win immunity. Makes sense. But it's like, okay, they're voting out Nneka because she failed at the puzzles twice now. But it was Nneka and Dwight on the puzzle last time and Nneka and Jesse on the puzzle this time. It wasn't like she was doing the puzzle totally alone. It doesn't matter how like athletic your people are if there's a puzzle at the end and all of your people can't do puzzles. So it'll be interesting to see, okay, you voted out this person because they were bad at puzzles. They're bringing down your tribe athletically. But if you don't have a good puzzle person, no matter how good you are at the physical portion, if there's a puzzle, you just got to hope there's no puzzles at the next immunity challenge.
I mean, it's kind of like that thing where like they had the lead this time because they were physical, but even with 2 puzzle doers, they couldn't get it. So, yikes.
So, what do you think, Alyssa? Was this a good move or a bad move to vote Nneka out and keep Noelle around? And I
I
guess
think
good move or bad move for Cody and Jesse specifically.
I think good move. I think good move. I think Nneka wasn't really contributing anything, and I think like 2 weeks ago they were like, oh, Nneka's really bad at challenges, and like I feel like the pass that people kind of gave her was like, oh, well, she might be good at puzzles, and like having a good puzzle person is an excuse enough to keep someone. And then she wasn't good at puzzles, so it's kind of like Nneka is a not good at challenges, and when you're on a tribe as small as these tribes are, you need to win challenges, otherwise you're going to go home just by sheer like luck, because you have a 1 in 4 chance of going home if you go to tribal council again. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this is a very risky move. I feel like the safer move, we'll see how it all plays out. But for me, I see the safer move for Jesse and Cody. They would keep Nneka one more round. You'd vote Noelle out this round because I don't know. Noelle, maybe she has an advantage. Maybe they were afraid that she had an advantage, like an idol. So the safe vote is to vote Nneka out. She doesn't have any kind of advantages. Versus if you vote or try to vote Noelle out and then she pulls out an idol, all your plans get messed up. then I feel like if you voted out Noelle this time, next time you could have easily voted out Dwight or Nneka. If you're Cody and Jesse, you're basically like pushing yourself higher up on the totem pole here if you're Cody and Jesse by like having more people there that can go before you. But I feel like either way, Nneka or Noelle going home, I would have been very like sad because we saw both of their stories this episode. Cody saying that he's sorry to Nneka after the votes are read was just so heartbreaking. And then Jesse talking about how Nneka is like his mom and voting out his mom is just
Oh
very
yeah,
sad.
that hurt me.
Extremely sad.
Yeah.
So
I did think hearing about like Nneka's work in Nigeria, that was really cool. I hope that she's still like able to do that work. So
exactly. So it just either way, Nneka or Noelle, it was going to be a sad end to the episode. I feel like all four of them voting out Nneka could be risky for Cody and Jesse now because seemingly on the face of it, as a viewer, it looks like it could be 2-2 Noelle Dwight versus Jesse and Cody. Maybe they created a bond or a pact like we were talking about that we didn't see on camera in the episode. So maybe it isn't really 2-2, but maybe it is still 3-1 and Noelle gets voted out next time. But it is risky if it is truly a 2-2 where Cody is safe because of the idol. I really think that puts Jesse in a very poor spot going into next week, especially if Dwight and Noelle are a tight twosome. They have a steal the vote. They can make it 3-1 or they can split their votes and do 2-1-1 if they're splitting for a potential idol. So I think Jesse could be in a very bad spot going into next week if they continue to lose challenges. I guess it depends where Dwight is. Is Dwight really with Cody or Jesse? Or is Dwight truly with Noelle to make it more of a 2-2?
yeah, and I feel like my guess is that Dwight is still more with Cody and Jesse, just because it would be kind of silly not to be. But I think I think that they're maybe letting us think that it's more of a 2-2 for like drama reasons. But from my understanding, it seems like he's more with Cody and Jesse. And then maybe we'll cut them loose once like it gets to merge time and he no longer needs to be third out of three in their group.
Okay, that's interesting. I feel like I'm more on the side that Dwight and Noelle are closer than maybe the edit is showing because Noelle told Dwight about that advantage. Dwight is maybe pissed at Jesse because of the whole island marriage thing and the divorce papers. Maybe like he's a little angry about that, but he's still willing to work with Jesse. Dwight, we saw, didn't really like Cody because they didn't talk strategy, where I could see maybe Dwight and Noelle wanting to target Cody, but then splitting the votes on Cody and Jesse because of a potential idol or an advantage. So I don't know. I feel like because Cody and Jesse, sure, voting out Nneka makes sense for tribe strength, even though she is super loyal. Like we said, if Nneka makes it to the merge and you have Cody, Jesse, Nneka as a threesome, Nneka is never going to be the target there. Everyone targeting their trio would try to get out Cody and Jesse there. So it makes sense because you'd want shields going into the merge. But I don't know. I feel like if red team keeps losing, it's going to put these people into a sticky situation.
Mm-hmm. So I also feel like as your tribe gets smaller and smaller, there's less room to maneuver. So Red Tribe is definitely getting in trouble.
Yeah, especially if this four, maybe they can just win out now. Like their plan, they're going to be the new Jonathan team. Somehow, someone's going to get some super strength puzzle skills in the next 3 days to win the next one. If they stop losing challenges and they can go to the merge with a tight foursome and they created some bond or pact here and they actually trust each other, they don't have any of these fissures from the island marriage falling apart. Everyone is good on the same page. I feel like that can be helpful for Jesse and Cody because they have more shields. People might want to target Noelle or Dwight before they target Jesse and Cody, compared to if you had Nneka around, they wouldn't target Nneka over Jesse and Cody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting for this red team. Like, I don't want to see them go to tribal council again, but I feel like given Noelle's advantage and a potential 2-2 split where Noelle could steal someone's vote, that'll be an interesting tribal council. Although it'll also be sad to see like Jesse get idled out or something.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I could also see Jesse's downfall being Cody because, never trust a salesman.
Yeah, apparently Gabler is a salesman, so maybe we'll see it come up again.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because he kept talking about how, like, oh, I work in the OR. And I noticed that, like, he never actually said that he's doing surgery, even though that's what a lot of people will be led to believe by him talking repeatedly about working in an OR. So,
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people on Reddit sort of like angry mad that he's sort of misrepresenting his profession because yeah, I feel like we thought he was a doctor given like the wording that he was using.
yeah, I wonder how much of that is his and how much of it is Survivor, like, productions. Like, I feel like them saying he's a heart valve specialist in, like, his preseason stuff, that could be just, like, Survivor production. But him constantly being like, "Oh, I work in an OR," that does seem to be, like, kind of misleading.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting because depending on how he frames it, maybe Cody will realize, oh, he's framing it more like doctory, but he's actually a salesperson for the heart valves. Similar, like Cody says he works at an elevator company, but he's actually selling elevators.
Hey, maybe Cody can use that to his advantage. You see, this salesperson is even lying about what his job is.
Yeah, that's even more threatening than Justine just saying she's a salesperson. That'll
Mm-hmm.
be funny. I hope it comes up. And then Cody is like, ah, gotcha, spotted a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for next week. It'll be a good episode, and I've been liking the season so far.
Yeah, it's been a solid season. I feel like I'm interested to see how it does after merge, just because I feel like there are some seasons that are real solid pre-merge and not as solid post-merge, and I hope this isn't one of them.
Yeah, so end us out, Alyssa.
Let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments down below. How did you feel about this episode being shorter than the others? If you were in the situation on the island, would you have given Noelle the advantage? And I don't know. Do you think that Gabler is being a lying liar who lies about his job? Let us know all that and more in the comments down below, and we will see you guys next week with another podcast. Bye.